as offense? I would say selfless, hardworking, disciplined, and willing to just really do anything to help the team win. You don't get all the glory and all the praise, and I'm okay with that. I've always played offensive line my whole career, my whole childhood and everything. But really just doing whatever it takes to help a team win. Doesn't matter if that's trying to hold a guy in place for 10 seconds while the quarterback's scrambling in the backfield trying to make a play downfield. Really just doing whatever it takes.
How do you characterize yourself and your group as an offensive line?
I'd say in the scheme we run, kind of more athletic. You kind of have to have some speed because we run a lot of outside zones. So in some of those cases, you have to work quick up to linebackers or cut off defensive linemen pretty quickly. So I would say pretty smart because of the scheme we run. You know, the different looks can change the calls dramatically and totally different calls. But a little bit more athletic than normal athletic offensive linemen.
Obviously, we played you guys before we came into the Big 12, and there was a rivalry for that game. Still continues. You know, from your perspective on the Cincinnati side, is that rivalry still alive as we continue into the Big 12 and the third season?
100%. Yeah, I would say us, UCF and Cincinnati, and then our other rival, Miami, Ohio. Those are the two we actually would consider a rival. No other teams we really have played. I know that Pitt used to be a rival for UCs, but they hadn't played for so many years, and we played them the last 2 seasons. But definitely UCF and Miami, Ohio were the 2 biggest rivals we had. We think those weeks a little different. You know, we know what to expect from the opponent in those ways. Yeah.
They say experience is the best teacher. When you think about your fast start last year and then how you guys finished, what did you guys take away from that you can carry over to this season to improve?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of just the story of our season last year. We'd start off games pretty strong. I felt like then we'd fall apart a little bit in the second half. So we've been preaching. It's called like the middle 8, like the last couple minutes of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter. You know, there's got to be the kind of the best moments of the game, and they matter for sure. So just being able to start fast, but not only start fast, but to be able to just finish games. It's a long season, so just not get fatigued. Don't let little things go or let fundamentals go as the season goes on and progresses. Just staying true to what we know and what got us to 5-2 at one point. And we weren't far off at all. I think there's a stat we were 1-4 in one-score games or something like that. So if you put that number around, we're sitting 9-3, and this conversation might look a little different. But just staying true to what the coaches are trying to instill in us and what we know and what we know we can do as a team.
As a caveat to that, you kind of mentioned it. When you think about how close you guys actually were in some of those 5 games, how have you used that as motivation to continue to preach to these younger guys that are still getting acclimated to the Cincinnati culture?
Yeah, well, it all starts with Coach Nico and his staff and what we do in the off season. Just getting that culture and us. I mean, Gavin and I have a pretty good understanding and getting that belief into us, but also just getting that to the young guys or guys who transferred in. And I think they picked it up pretty quickly that we're not messing around. We got beliefs in what we can do, and if you don't believe in that or you're not buying in, then you're not going to work out here. So just getting the young guys and everyone on board, and just collectively as a whole group, everyone's just believe in what we're trying to do.
Joe, you transferred here last year. It kind of immediately clicked with you. Do you see some other transfers this year where you feel like they could just have a breakout season after not playing as much at their previous schools?
Yeah, starting offensively, we brought in so many great receivers that will help us. Jeff Caldwell, Caleb Goody, Cyrus Allen, Noah Jennings, and the list goes on. Tawee Walker, running back, he'll be great for us as well. Got some guys help Gavin out on the O-line. Taryn Tyler from Ball State. He'll have immediate impact with Joe Cotton. He'll be a good tackle for us. So offensively, we got some key pieces that we were missing, and then so I'd say all those guys really. And then defensively, we picked up some good defensive backs on the back end. Christian Harrison really good. Matthew Doom. I mean, we really kind of got like a new team, but I think all these guys will do well for us.
for both of you, what was it like last year when you heard that Dante was cleared to play? Because I'm sure that news was tough in June. And now what's it like having a full offseason with him back, committed to the team, being that longtime leader that's been here even since it was successful?
Yeah, Dante will tell you too, last year didn't really go for him the way he wanted because he missed a lot of summer, pretty much all of training camp, and it takes some time to really get clicking, and by the time he said he felt like he was clicking, it was really late in the season. So just being able to have the full off season, and I think he's healthy and everything's all good, so that's awesome, and he'll be back to who he was this year for sure.
I mean, you can't replicate a game, so I know struggling, he was running all the time, trying to stay in shape even though he didn't know if he'd play or not, but you can't replicate a game. So knowing that he struggled a little bit once he went out there for games, for him to have a whole off season, he's a tremendous leader for this team. He holds down the fort on the defense for sure, and it's huge to have him full healthy this year.
Speaking of Joe Cotton, Gavin, what have you seen from him there in the offensive line, and what does he bring to the table? Obviously, he has the stature of 6'7", 320 pounds. What does he bring to that offensive line?
Yeah, he fits the picture automatically, obviously, but he came in with a chip on his shoulder. He played at smaller school and FCS and whatnot, but to come into, he's ready to play at this level, and he knows that, and we all know that. And as long as he's confident, which he's shown that he is, he came in with a chip, and we do these crews, and he's always top 5 on the whole team in points. He's working his butt off, trying to be the best version of himself to help us win a lot of games this year.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.